So, good afternoon all. First video in a while. I've just been on holiday with the family, so obviously no time to do any football videos. Bad timing really, because there's been so much to talk about with the start of the summer series, the couple of friendlies we had prior to going to America, and obviously the signing. I'm not going to cover the summer series too much because there's so many better channels than mine talking about that. And obviously I'm not working this week, so I'm not not gonna stay up till like 3 in the morning to watch football and then get up again at 6 to go to work. So I'm just gonna catch the highlights and let other people talk about that. But anyway, so Harvey Barnes is finally a Newcastle United player. Obviously, this is not fresh news. He signed officially, I think, was it on Sunday, Saturday or Sunday, I believe. Well, he played for Newcastle in the game against Aston Villa, which was Sunday night. So yeah, I think he flew out on the Saturday and he was officially unveiled once he was in America, which was nice. It was nice to see him talking to a couple of players beforehand, Trippier, Wilson. I don't think he's going to have much problem integrating into the team as, for example, Sandro Tonali. The obvious one is he's English, it's his first language, but also he knows quite a lot of the players. He hasn't been a mainstay in the English national team. He's played once, but he would have known the likes of Wilson, Trippier, Pope. He would have come across them, playing against them quite a lot. You know, he's been in the Leicester team. Well, I think he's been playing in the Premier League since 2018-ish. I remember I said in an early video, he impressed me when he was on loan at West Brom. So, you know, that's ample times he would have come across some of these players, you know, particularly the English guys, you know, Matt Targett, Dan Burn, etc. And he would have been in camps, as I said, with the likes of Kieran Trippier, Nick Pope, predominantly for England. Obviously, Wilson's in and around it nowadays, but he hasn't always been in the England setup. 5-year contract. We're talking about 39 million pounds. I don't know the structure of the deal. 5-year contract, as I say, which will take him up until he's 30, 31, depending on his birthday, etc. But we're looking for 5 years' time, and we're getting the player in the prime of his career, or who will be approaching the prime of his career, and that is the common theme with these recent Newcastle signings, which I'll get to in a moment. But I always like to get the bad news out of the way. Alan Saint-Maximin is leaving. He's definitely leaving because we saw Anthony Gordon with the number 10 on his back against Aston Villa. It's a shame. I'm going to do a separate video on ASM because I think he deserves that. I didn't want him to go. However, top level sport is a cutthroat business. And because of our previous ownership regime, we've had to cut parts of ourselves off in order to grow, to quote Tom Hardy. To quote Charles Bronson, via Tom Hardy. And it's a shame. Selfishly, I didn't want him to go. He's my daughter's favourite player. He's one of my favourite players. He's been the shining light in probably the most turgid period of the Ashley regime. So I know we were relegated. We've had worse teams in terms of performance and points accrued. But yeah, sad to see him go. But I'm going to do a separate video on ASM. Harvey Barnes, he is... If you did a test with ASM, skill for skill, attribute for attribute, one-on-one, ASM might beat him. ASM's a trickier player. He's probably faster. He's more skillful with the ball at his feet in terms of tricks, dribbling, all this sort of thing. If it was FIFA Street, ASM would wipe the floor with him. However, this is not FIFA Street. This is an 11-a-side Premier League, Champions League football. Harvey Barnes has got Champions League experience. He is the perfect signing for Eddie Howe. He's very much an Eddie Howe player. He's got all the physical attributes. He's quick, not as quick as ASM, but he's quick. He's hard working. He's got stamina. Obviously, he's got the endurance. He goes and goes and goes. He's going to strike up a better partnership with the left back. He's going to help out the left back more. He's going to tackle. He's going to defend. He's going to do his job. Whereas I think ASM was very much that wild card. I don't think Harvey Barnes is. He's a very Eddie Howe sort of player, very team orientated. Great player, great skill, great goal scorer. You know, I've been watching some highlights of his Leicester goals over the last 2, 3, 4 years. Some fantastic finishes. That boy can strike a ball. Bang, top corner. You know, he's coming in wide off the left and he's at angles and he won't try and square it or go for the easy option. He's hitting the top corner from angles. It's a fantastic player. 25 years old, as I've said earlier, he's approaching his peak. The key theme of our top signings has been players that can grow with the club, right? Not these Galactico signings who's someone who's just won the Ballon d'Or like Madrid did with Ronaldo. It's players who are going to grow with the club. The ideal examples are Alex Isak and Sandro Tonali. You could also throw in Sven Botman, Bruno Guimaraes as well. 25 years old, so he's coming to his peak. Players are hitting their peak and maintaining their peak for longer these days due to sports science, diets, just probably a general improvement in professionalism, etc. Facilities, coaching, physios, all this sort of thing. But we've tied him down for his peak years, 25 to 30. He's probably going to hit his absolute best around 28, 29, 30. And then it might be a little from there. But that's probably when he's going to hit his peak. Great player, great signing. I think we've been very clever about this. We were interested a year ago, so I'm led to believe we would not have got him for 38 million a year ago. On his day, if you're looking at, I know players are only worth what they're willing to be, what the other clubs are willing to pay. Hence why Declan Rice has gone for so much money. And they're only worth what their parent club is willing to let them go for. However, would we have got Harvey Barnes for 40 million last year? No. He's worth a lot more than that. How's he going to fit into the system? I think it's going to be battling between him, Isak and Gordon for that left wing spot. I think Miguel Almiron and Jacob Murphy have pretty much got the right wing down. I would like to see Gordon on the right personally, and Barnes on the left with Isak through the middle. But then again, Callum Wilson got 18 league goals last season. Our highest Premier League goal scorer for, I have no idea how long. Fantastic performance. What more is there to say about Harvey Barnes? I don't really know. I'm well happy with the signing. A British guy, a British lad, young, enthusiastic, quiet. You don't hear about him in trouble in the media. He's not one that gets sent off or you see him gobbing off at the referee. He's not a shrinking violet. I don't think he's going to take a step back if he's challenged. But you don't see him gobbing off at the referee. You don't see him diving. He's quick, skillful, great dribbler, good athlete. Should be a good teammate to the rest of the boys. Fantastic. I'm very, very happy with the signing. Bittersweet because ASM's going. I'll do another video on ASM. He deserves his own video. Eddie Howe said post Aston Villa that we're on to the next signing. When Craig Hope interviewed him. Who's that going to be? This Tino Livramento deal has seemed to be dragging on and on and on and on. Don't really know what's happening. Southampton paid, in relative terms, a pittance for him. He spent most of the season injured. Now they want 50 million for him. I'm not quite sure I believe that. I don't think Southampton are that gullible, that naive to suggest that he's worth that money. If he is, or if that's what they're saying, we need to walk away from this deal immediately. I'm not quite sure what the rush is to get a right back in. Manquillo doesn't look like he's leaving. He's played a fair bit in pre-season so far. Emil Kraft, I don't think the club will boot him out the door because he spent all the last season pretty much injured, so he deserves another crack. Kieran Trippier is the best right back in the Premier League. Probably. Up there with Kyle Walker and Reece James. And then we've just bought Ashby, a young lad from West Ham. Bought him 6-7 months ago, so I'm not sure what the rush is to sign Tino Livramento. I did say on one of my earlier videos, You've got Kieran Trippier who could cover that left back spot as a replacement, and then we've got an extra right back to fill in for him to save us spending on a left back. But if you're going to do that, why not just sign a left back and save spending on a right back that we don't need? I'm a little bit confused by it. Obviously, there's still rumblings about Moussa Diaby for Leverkusen. That won't happen now. We've got Harvey Barnes. The other guys in France, Thuram. Don't think that. I don't think we'll see many more through the door. I think we've signed 2 top quality players in positions that we needed to strengthen central midfield and wide. It's a 1-for-1 with ASM, but then again, ASM didn't play an awful lot last season anyway. So is he a loss? And we got Gordon in, didn't we? So we in the last 2 windows, we've lost 1 winger and recruited 2 of first team quality. Don't know much more. We'll have to wait and see. I tell you what, I have seen Elliot Anderson. How good has he been? Good against Rangers. Our best player probably against Gateshead. And then he looked fantastic against Aston Villa the other night. You know, that goal. Lovely cut back and just rolled it in. Brilliant. Tackles. He's really pushing for a midfield starting place when we play Aston Villa. First game of the season. You know, our midfield looks very strong. Sean Longstaff, I think, is injured right now, but you've got to think Sean Longstaff, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, Joe Linton, Joe Willock, and Elliot Anderson. That is a good midfield. And Anderson, I think this could be his, I don't want to say breakthrough season like he's going to start every game, but I think you'll see him start a lot more games than he did last season. He was unfortunate on his debut against Liverpool, his debut as a starter in the first 11, that he got hooked off because obviously Nick Pope got injured, got sent off, sorry. So that was unfortunate for him because he was doing all right. Anyway, going to wrap it up now. Hopefully the sound quality is a bit better. I've only just realised that these headphones have got a microphone feature. Yeah, then I got the dog's ear whinging and the bloody washing machine on, so hopefully these are a lot better. Anyway, please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you'd like me to dig into. And I'll see you again for some transfer news and any other interesting things that happen in the world of Newcastle United. Cheers.